Today, we are coming from you from Tokyo, Japan.
Wow.
Wow. Podcast filmed in
International.
Japan.
Take that, Pitbull.
How exciting.
I'm a little disappointed you didn't do today in Japanese. That would have been exciting.
How do you say in Japanese?
Kyoto wa Kyoto to Krysta Podcast.
Oh.
Big episode.
Sugoi.
Yes, excellent.
Okay, I don't really know what you said, but that sounded exciting. We are here live from Japan to tell you how our trip has been going so far. We've been here for a couple of days, and I feel like we've already done so much stuff.
We have had a very busy schedule.
Yeah, but it's been really, really fun, and we're going to just give you a nice little recap of what we've been up to so far. But the trip is continuing on. We're going to be at Tokyo Game Show later this week. We got more people to see and more things to do. So this is just part one of our great Japan trip.
We're not even at the halfway point of this trip.
You seem very cranky with me already.
Well, I don't know. Like you've made many offhanded comments about my attitude, or I don't know. I don't even understand.
You said earlier today.
We might as well iron this out now.
You said earlier today, this is the part of the trip when you're with someone, when you really, when you really decide whether or not you can stand them in a way that sounded threatening to me.
I mean,
what did you mean by that?
It is a fact. I mean, we've been on a lot of trips together. I don't know if we've ever been on a trip like this before, where it's just, nonstop. With the other person, there's often been things to break it up. I wasn't suggesting one way or another.
Seems like you are. Look at this. You're sitting like
I'm trying to get comfortable here.
You're getting the tude.
No, but I mean, I will say, we were just at a nice little coffee shop.
We were.
Having a little bit of refreshment before coming to do this podcast. And it's on the second floor. There was a single up escalator.
No,
and when we were done, you insisted on trying to get down the up escalator. And I said, please, it doesn't work that way.
It was one of those escalators where it doesn't start going until you step onto it. So I thought it had two directions. Like when you were at the bottom, it takes you up. And if you're at the top, it takes you down.
It's not that smart. Again, what if somebody had just gotten on going up and then you
Nobody was there.
Whoa. What would have happened then?
Nobody was there. So it should be that smart.
But you really fought against this escalator.
I stepped on it because when you were
I had to be like, no, let's not do this.
That's not what happened. This is lies. This is slander.
Lies happened
this is escalator slander.
It happened 15 minutes ago.
I was.
What are you talking
They gave
about?
us these little cute little a little packet of peanuts, like an airplane snack.
Yeah. And
it's like those yummy Japanese ones where it's coated in some sort of sugary coating. And I was really enjoying them. And then you said you wanted one, so you tried one, and then you made this face like you hated it.
Well, I didn't really want one, but you're like, you have to eat this.
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I said, do you want to try one?
Okay.
And I told you not to yuck my yum.
I've never heard that phrase in my life.
And I didn't really like that you did that.
Don't yuck my yum.
Don't. Let me eat the peanuts.
But the trip's going great.
Anyway.
Couldn't be going better. It's wonderful.
It has been going so great.
No, I have had a problem. I have not slept well for the vast majority of the trip.
Yeah, you had a real issue.
Especially the first two nights. I just, for whatever reason, normally it's okay. I did everything that I needed to do to avoid jet lag. I just couldn't sleep. I just lay awake in bed for hours and hours and hours. I had a great full night of sleep last night.
Yeah.
So I think everything's on the up and up. I think you're the grumpy one now.
I'm not.
What happened to you?
I've been trying to deal with your temper tantrums because you haven't slept and you've been all cranky.
There's no temper tantrums. This is going to be a different kind of episode beyond, it's going to be not just us complaining. We're going to be focusing on stuff we're doing in Japan. We're going to talk about some games we've been playing on the trip. We're going to try to keep it to as they say on the great 8-4 podcast, the tight 60. That is the goal.
60.
The tight 60, the tightest of 60s.
Yeah. Because your girl has to edit this right after that.
We've got more things to do.
And I got to upload this somehow. I did find the good internet at the coffee shop across the street.
We're going to be going right back to that coffee shop. You're going to battle
up that escalator.
You're going to battle it out with that escalator one more time.
Other things on the channel right now.
Yes.
We did a fun retro PlayStation collection video right before we hopped the plane to Japan. That is on the channel. That's really cool. We played and beat Astrobot, and it got us thinking about all of these great, PlayStation franchises. It's so fun to like think back on those great PlayStation games. So we took a little look-see at the old collection.
Yes, it is PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PSP, and a mystery platform that I will not name.
Yeah.
But it's dozens and dozens of games.
It is.
It's a lot of great memories. Memories of me remembering games that I no longer have for whatever reason.
Yeah. It's like, do I have this game?
Which
do I
is
not have this game?
like, wait a minute, where'd that go? Oh, I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
Which is fun. But I saw some comments on it like, oh, I didn't even know that you had games that were not on a Nintendo system. It's like, oh yeah.
Boy.
Oh yeah. We got
Still
it.
fighting that, huh? Still fighting that misconception.
We've got it all.
Yeah. Guess what? We like all
and by
kinds
we,
of
I mean
games.
me.
We like all kinds of games. I'm ignoring you right now.
Yes.
We have hours and hours and hours and hours, I'm not even exaggerating, of vlogs.
We've been vlogging
coming
nonstop.
your way. Yes. There is going to be vlogs for sort of each city that we've visited in Japan. So we'll have a Kyoto-specific vlog. We will have a Tokyo-specific vlog. And we'll also have a TGS, Tokyo Game Show, specific vlog. So please look forward, as they say, to lots of vlogs. I was editing the Kyoto one since we just sort of wrapped up that leg of the trip. It is an hour long. So
fantastic.
There you go. It's going to be a lot of stuff in the vlogs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the TGS one will be the first one out.
Yes, the TGS one will be the first one
We haven't
out.
decided what's the second one, though.
Yeah, we haven't decided yet.
I think maybe the Kyoto one should be the second one.
Because it's like a Tokyo, Kyoto, Tokyo.
Well,
like
the TGS or the Tokyo one will include us leaving Japan. So that is like, this is the end, we're going home.
Oh, okay.
So that feels like maybe a logical...
All right, we're just deciding that with this right now.
End.
Okay.
Maybe?
Yeah. I like it.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that
Great.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been vlogging nonstop, so much footage, and we were in Kyoto for 2 days, and that's an hour video. And we have many, many more days ahead of us in Tokyo.
Yeah. When we checked into the hotel today, they were like, you're here for 4 days. I'm like, I am? Okay. I guess so. But yes, it has been such a cool trip so far. And yes, we've been capturing all of it on these vlogs.
Get ready for the Coppola level in length and quality.
Oh my, quality? Length? Yes.
Oscar-worthy of these vlogs coming
Better
soon.
get artistic here.
Yes.
Better get artistic.
We want to spend the most of our time just kind of recapping some of the stuff we've been doing, people we've been seeing. But first, the sponsorships don't stop.
No.
When we're out of the country, we have some great sponsors to shout out worldwide today. First sponsor for this episode is Hims. Thank you, Hims.
Yeah, thank you.
Once again, I need to have a chat with the fellas.
Okay. Let me leave the room.
When we leave the house, it's get the phone, get the wallet, get your keys, and how does my hair look? But if you're experiencing hair loss, you may not be so confident when you step outside your door, and it's time to get that confidence back and restore your hair with Hims.
Yes.
It is a fact of life, of science, of whatever...
Genetics?
Whatever you may choose to follow. Most men, once they reach a certain age, and I'm well beyond this age, start to lose their hair to some degree.
Yeah.
Some more, some less. It's certainly something that I have thought about. So it is this kind of like almost inescapable thing.
Yeah.
It happens to so many people. It can be very stressful.
Yeah.
You think like, oh my gosh, I'm changing. This is how the world perceives me.
Right.
It's changing in this very tangible,
like visible
tangible way.
way.
Can result in a lot of stress. But there have been so many great breakthroughs, and it has become a very treatable thing. And Hims is here with so many great solutions. And I think something that's really awesome about it is that you can do it. All these treatments that work from the comfort of your couch, doctor trusted treatment options. You can get chewable treatments, oral treatments, spray treatments, and even a serum treatments.
Wow, it's a lot of options.
That's a lot of different options. So
choose the one that works for you.
Exactly,
right?
Find the one that works for you. The process is super simple. Do it all online, answer a couple questions, and a medical provider will determine what is right for you. and you go from there.
Yeah.
And Hims has hundreds of thousands of subscribers who have experienced really positive stories and positive outcomes. So you can be one of them.
Yeah.
So start your free online visit today at hims.com/KitandKrysta. That's HIMS.com/KitandKrysta for your personalized hair loss treatment options. hims.com/KitandKrysta. And here comes the disclaimer. Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
We'll put the link right over here and also in the description below.
Yes. All right. Let's dig into this great trip
Japanese
so far.
story time. Here we go.
So we landed into Tokyo.
Yes.
Specifically the Haneda airport.
You were very insistent
which is a game changer.
Flying into Haneda.
That used to be more of like a regional airport that didn't take a lot of these big, long
international
flights. So I always had to fly into Narita.
You had a really bad experience.
I have
like a horror story.
I have a life vendetta against the Narita airport. I will never use that airport again.
You had a really bad
I won't get into it.
Experience.
I will not ever use that airport again.
Yeah, that airport is it's one of those airports that's very, very far from the city.
It's ridiculous.
You gotta take now they do have an express train, but even that train is like an hour. And
it's more than an hour.
It can be more than an hour. And so I've never actually flown into Haneda, but I loved it because we basically
got to the hotel in like
20 minutes.
It was amazing.
It was incredible. Yeah. And you know, after a long flight, just over it. You just want to get there.
Things are looking a little blurry. Like, what?
Yeah.
Where?
You want to just kind of like get settled in a little bit and like have your feet on the ground again. So it was really nice.
Yes.
And we kind of hit the ground running.
I think that's something that we have like the same philosophy of like, especially after these long trips, once you land, like you just kind of need to keep moving, or else like things can go off the rails really fast. Or it's like, oh, I'm just gonna sit in the room for a little bit, and then we're gonna go out. It's like then somebody's falling asleep, and then it's just like, oh well, I woke up at 2 a.m. and I wasn't able to, and now it's completely just over.
Yeah, so we landed around like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and so we did have to pass like some amount of time before it's like the appropriate time to go to bed, so you can try to get as much on the time zone as possible. But I do think that we maybe did a little bit too much, which maybe resulted in your poor sleep. Because usually if you're on vacation, you can take a bit more of a relaxed approach. But we just been like trying to get, you know, as much filming done as possible, see as many people as possible. And so that's what we did on like our first day in. You know, we basically got to the hotel, dropped off our stuff, and went immediately to Shibuya to go to the Nintendo, the Tokyo Nintendo Pokemon Center at the Parco, which is a mall here.
Yes, we were meeting some friends for dinner, and they said, we've got this restaurant that's in the same mall that has the store. So we said, all right, perfect.
We'll just go there and check out the stores.
We'll go. We want to see this stuff anyway, so we'll go see it now. And yeah, I knew that Tokyo had all these different stores. I didn't realize they were all in the same mall, and B, literally next to each other on the same floor.
Yeah, that made it a little rough, honestly. Like, it was just a lot of humanity that were doing the same thing you were, which is like going from
raiding these stores.
Yeah, exactly. Going from one store to the next. The Nintendo store was actually okay. It's large enough where you did have a bit of space, but it was still very, very crowded. We both really liked the Capcom store that was up there. That one was great. Much smaller, obviously, than the Nintendo store, but they had a lot of cool stuff in there and stuff that you just can't find in the States because, I don't know, maybe those games are not as popular, but it was so cool to just have like a dedicated Capcom store that we could go to. And then we really tried to get into the Pokemon Center, but that was just a madhouse.
I feel like that store over itself was like kind of a weird shape. It was like along the edge of the building.
Yeah.
So it was just like choke point after choke point where there was just like so many people. It's like I literally cannot get inside of the store.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But that is the store that had, you've probably seen pictures of it, and we posted some ourselves, of the Mewtwo in the like vat. like Mewtwo ready to be born almost.
Oh, it's so weird.
And it's so trippy when you get up close and look. It looks so real.
It looks so. There's something going on with the texture.
It's like slightly
of the
fuzzy.
Skin.
He's like waiting for the eyes to pop open.
It's creepy, but it's very like cool looking, but it's a little unnerving.
Right. So I was ready to charge in there and say, "Where is your Machamp section?" Because clearly they must have a dedicated section for Machamp. Because Machamp is so cool. But we could barely even get in that store.
I know.
All those stores did have very good like visuals.
Yeah.
And like other like photo ops.
Yeah.
Like the Capcom store had a giant like Monster Hunter thing where like the claw was like coming out of the wall.
Yeah, and there's like a big sword on the floor that you could take
a picture with.
Yeah.
The Nintendo store had like all the statues of all the different characters. A mysteriously tiny Link.
That was something that was surprising to both of us because we've been to the New York Nintendo store before, and they do have statues as well.
The appropriately sized.
And the statues are like, yes, they're scaled.
What is it? Link is supposed to be like what, 5'8"? We've learned.
Yes, I think he's supposed to be. This one was like a little mini.
This Link was shorter than you.
Yeah.
This was like 3.5 feet tall Link.
But why?
I don't know. I could not stop laughing at that.
There's a photo that we posted where you stood next to it, and it was on this like pretty tall platform.
Wait a minute.
And you're like the same height as him.
This is not like a Lord of the Rings level like perspective trick. Like
no.
This is me standing next to Link.
Yeah, it was weird.
That ain't right.
It was very strange. I mean, the statue was very detailed and like cool looking, but it was just so tiny.
Yeah.
But so we explored those stores. We didn't end up buying anything there because it was just kind of a madhouse.
I mean, we knew we were going to other Nintendo stores.
Yeah.
Like, there's also like, so for example, at this Nintendo store, they have a wall of like every amiibo that you could want.
Yeah.
Which is, if you're coming from America or other countries, that's like, oh my gosh.
Shocking thing.
Wow, because you never see that many amiibo
Right.
anywhere. Like, I do remember, though, like, a lot of the stores here, just like the normal stores, like when we go to, like, Yodobashi Camera
I
later,
love Yodobashi
they have
Camera.
basically the same selection, so I was like, I don't really want to stand in this crazy line to
And you don't need to fight people for it.
Right, it's like, I can get that later.
Elsewhere.
So I wasn't super eager to do that.
Yeah, and you don't need to buy, like, games in those stores. You really don't need to do it. Like, you don't need to buy, like, your Joy-Con in those stores. Like, you can buy that.
They're barely selling any, game stuff to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of our first night, and then in the morning we took off to Kyoto on the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train, which is amazing.
So amazing.
This amazing thing that they have had since the 60s.
Yeah, your mom.
My mom and my parents visited, I think it was either the late 60s or the early 70s.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of my mom on the Shinkansen back then, and I just think, like, what an incredible, like, how did people back then think of this thing?
Because I still marvel at it every time.
It's amazing now. Yeah.
Yeah, we've ridden the Shinkansen before many times, but every single time I ride it, I'm just like, this is like the coolest thing ever. And it makes traveling between cities so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, so it takes about 2
hours,
depending on how many stops it's making, between 2 and 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And the thing goes like, it's getting close to like 200 miles an hour.
But it feels like you're
zipping around.
You're just like flying.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
The best part about getting on the bullet train, though, is getting a train bento.
Yes.
The magic of a train bento, if you've not experienced it, is like one of the most amazing things ever. And so you get to the train station where, you get onto the Shinkansen, and there's all these little stores that sell these like pre-packaged bento boxes.
Yeah.
And all the food is like delicious and beautifully packaged and inexpensive. And everybody just like gets, you can pick whatever bento you want, and then you can go on the train and like have your little like bento lunch on the train. And it's just, I don't know, there's something about that experience that's just like magical and great. And I think like, why can't we have this in America? It just doesn't work, I guess.
Can't.
You just can't.
You just can't. No.
So we did enjoy a lovely train bento on our way to Kyoto, which is so nice.
Yes. And, I really like Tokyo a lot. I kind of go back and forth on Kyoto of like how much is it as cool as people say. Some trips like I've been a little bit out on it. I think I'm back in on Kyoto for whatever reason. Yeah,
Kyoto is very different. It's definitely a lot more like quiet and peaceful there. Lots more traditional sites. You know, a lot of the very traditional things that you probably associate with Japan is in Kyoto.
Yeah.
But Kyoto's also like, you know, there's a vibe there that can be hard to adjust to. Like, you have to be extremely polite, and it's very sort of like, not to be disparaging, but it's like a little bit uptight sometimes, and so you have to be like very careful about everything that you're doing, and sometimes that can be a little bit tiring. Those are the times where
Do not rage against an escalator in Kyoto.
I wasn't raging. You were raging against me. But yeah, Kyoto does have that sort of like feeling, and sometimes like, you know, you're like, oh, I'm kind of like a little bit tired of this. I want to just.
But I think I'm back in.
Yeah.
And again, it was only after like half a day in Tokyo. It's like, no, I really feel the contrast. I can appreciate this better now. Maybe it's because I was not there on a like quote unquote business.
Wow,
I mean, this is
trip.
in many ways a business trip for us, but it's a very different kind of one.
Yeah.
I think I could appreciate a little bit better this time.
Yeah, this time was really special too, because we haven't been to Kyoto in 5 years, and there's people that we haven't seen in a long time, like in 5 years, maybe more. And so it felt a little bit, even though like we don't live in Kyoto, it kind of felt a little bit like a mini homecoming a little bit, because we do have a lot of memories already in Kyoto, and people that we love and want to see, and things that we have great memories with that we want to do again. So that's kind of how it felt, and I think that's why it made it like really fun to go back there, because you do kind of relive some of those moments, and like also, you know, have new memories as well. So that was really cool, and we got to see like randomly like a lot of people who are also in Kyoto. So that was really fun.
Yeah. We did, you know, it's not the biggest city, so I feel like we've seen a lot of the main things.
Yeah.
Our first stop, though, was one thing that we were told not to go to.
When we were at Nintendo.
When we were there last.
Yeah.
Which is the old Nintendo headquarters building, which is kind of by the river, and has now been converted into this really like swanky boutique hotel. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, our friend Rogersbase was staying there.
Yeah.
So we got to go hang out with him, and he showed us around, which was amazing. In his own words, he is in town for redacted. I'll let him answer the questions about that.
Yeah, you can ask him yourself.
All will become clear at some point, probably. Yes. But yeah, when we would bring that up to the old Nintendo people, they would give us a lot of like reasons not to go. Like, oh, it's a bad part of town. I think also like the relationship between that place and Nintendo is not like super
controlled.
Yeah, it's Nintendo doesn't own that hotel. Like, they don't operate that hotel. So I think they're like, we can't vouch for this place. Mm-hmm. Like, so, you know,
they're very careful about that.
Legit.
Yeah. When we did that Nintendo Minute vlog when we were at Nintendo, they were very, like, they really wanted us to only show the things that they were 100% in control of. Like, we couldn't even show, like, any food. Because they were like, we don't know if this restaurant's actually any good, so, like, you can't show this. Like,
it's like you are representing our entire country through this one meal that you were having, and we don't trust you to do that.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And so I think that's why they didn't really want us to go to... and this was before that building became a hotel. So we were just going to go see, like, the front of it, which has, like, the sign.
Yeah, the plaque
old, sign
that you've probably seen pictures of,
like,
that says, like, the
cards.
Nintendo playing cards.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's... On the outside, it doesn't look that big, but it is kind of a series of buildings that kind of goes
really
deeper,
cool.
deeper, and deeper.
Yeah.
And Roger totally hooked us up. Like, he let us come in. It seems like they are very familiar with, like, who wants to see this place.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, you can hang out on the outside, do whatever, but, like, it's guests only on the inside. We're not staying there. So Roger kind of brought us in.
Yeah.
And let us check it out. And they do have this thing, the Yamauchi family library, which is, like, up one floor, and it's all of these, it's like a sitting room that's kind of like got a ring of all these different artifacts,
like displays,
memorabilia, displays, books, and some really cool stuff in there.
Yeah, really beautifully artistically displayed stuff, and it's a very classy, really nice place. And yeah, it was like sort of the old offices that they converted into these hotel rooms, and they still like really kept a lot of the old architecture. So yeah, it's a really cool place. And I think if you're interested in that type of history, like you should definitely try to stay there because it's pretty cool.
It's very like they're going down the classy angle. Like there's not like a Mario poster slapped like anywhere.
It's like super
they did have
high-end.
like a framed matted like series of Hanafuda cards on the wall.
Yeah.
Or very subtle like iconography of playing cards that you would see.
Yeah.
Frankly, that place was out of our budget for this trip, quite honestly.
That place is really expensive, but it's like a treat.
Right.
If you can stay there. You should try to do that.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Then we went to the other Nintendo store in Kyoto, which I think it's cool that they have a store in their home
It's like
town.
a flagship store.
They can represent.
Yeah.
And that one is also like part of these Japanese department stores are very different.
Yeah.
Like, how would you describe this?
It's like
I kind of don't know how.
Yeah, I mean, Asian malls or Asian department stores are all like this, where it's like super high end. They're usually like, different floors for different things. There usually is some kind of like entertainment-y floor, which is where this Nintendo Kyoto store is. There's usually like some sort of restaurant floor and then it's like the normal department store with like clothes and makeup and shoes and stuff. But just a really different vibe than like a U.S. department store. But it was in a department store. It was in the Takashimaya, which is a very, very nice Japanese department store on like the 7th floor. So it is like sort of near the top of that building. And I thought that this store was really cool. Like they really like tried, I think, to make it impressive.
Yeah.
I think it is better than the Tokyo store.
And not just because it was not this glut of people. I think there were other reasons as well.
Yeah.
It just, the layout seemed to be a bit more conducive to seeing everything.
They had a lot of exclusive items too. Like Kyoto is really known for like craftsmanship, and artisans have been doing the same craft for hundreds of years, like generational. Like my family has done this one thing for 200 years. And they kind of brought that into the Nintendo store. Like you got an item which was like this tote bag made by these artisans in Kyoto that make tote bags.
Yeah.
And they made it specifically for the Nintendo Kyoto store. It's only available there. It's like the highest quality tote bag I've ever seen in my whole life. It's so beautiful and so well made.
And they included in the bag like a little pamphlet about that place.
Yeah.
And one of the things was like, we do not sell any of our stuff outside of the city.
Exactly. So that's what makes it cool.
Yeah.
Because you do feel like that Kyoto history is like steeped not only into Nintendo, but also like into the store too. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, these stores are just, again, comparing it to the U.S. Nintendo stores where they'll just like slap a box art on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Which like, some amount of people want that. Like this is going like quite a bit deeper among the surface. Like for example, there's so much Splatoon stuff, but even specifically Salmon Run stuff had like I hoped for the Machamp section of the store, there was a Salmon Run section of the Nintendo store, and they had this big like camping display of like all this Salmon Run camping gear that you could get at the Nintendo store.
Very interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like the Animal Crossing section is just all homeware.
Right.
Like it's every single kind of like
you're gonna buy a
water pitcher, frying pan, little cute pot, jars for pasta. It's like if you want your entire kitchen to be like Animal Crossing, you can do that. Like you can have everything in your kitchen be that, which is pretty cool.
You're on the path to doing that.
I'm kind of on the path to doing that.
You've had people bringing you stuff over years.
I might be out of money soon, but we'll see. But yes, I do love that it's more than just your typical merch. You do see like the care that they take into making these things. So it's really nice. And they also have this cool like rooftop where they have like a huge Mario flagpole. They have these like giant blocks. It kind of reminded me of Super Nintendo World, actually, like that kind of display of things. So they did kind of go like all out. And then on the bottom floor, before you go up to the 7th floor where the store is, there is a huge, and I'm really emphasizing the word huge.
Like it's like bigger than this room that we're in right now.
That was ridiculous. We turned the corner. And it was like the biggest Mario head that we've ever seen in our entire lives, and the biggest pipe that we've ever seen in our entire lives.
It's like half of Mario's head is like popping out.
Yeah.
And I'd seen pictures of that before, but for some reason, I didn't really know. I was like, is that like a print on the wall, or what exactly is this? I didn't really expect that it would be this physical, huge thing that they made and just plopped right at the bottom floor.
I think the eyeball, Mario's eyeball, was bigger than my head.
Yeah.
Like, that is the scale
of this Kaiju thing. Mario.
Yes. That's cool, actually. That's a cool way to describe it. Yeah, but there's, like, photos of us next to it. And you're, I'm small, but you're not.
They made up for the tiny Link with the big Mario.
Tiny next to that thing. And you're not small, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And they were saying that at night they like drop like a thing down and it looks like Mario's in jail. Yeah.
And people like meme it all the time, I guess, which is hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah. And then we ended up after we kind of explored the hotel with Roger, and then after we explored the Nintendo store, we ended up going to dinner that night with some really fun people.
Yeah, it was put together by another redacted individual.
Is it redacted? Because someone posted a photo.
We didn't post the photo. I think it's best that we consider them redacted. If you'd like to know who exactly it is, please look up the photo. It's on all of our social channels, just to be safe. Okay. But we did get to meet some new folks. Jake Casdell of 17-Bit, Liam Edwards of Dinky Works. They run these like local Kyoto-based indie studios.
They're so awesome.
And they're people that I knew of in the industry, but had never had the chance to meet. Which was super cool. And that's the best thing, like when you can have locals kind of take you around and show you like, no, this is the real city and this is the real experience.
We went to a really good like sushi restaurant that was like, they called it like izakaya sushi, which was really interesting. The food was delicious, and we had a great time just chatting with Jake and Liam. We're actually going to see them later at Tokyo Game Show as well, because they're all coming down for that. So, yeah, but it's always nice to meet, new friends and new people, especially people in different cities and different countries. Just like cool to chat with them and hear about their experience as well. And they're both making some incredible games as well. So it's just so cool that we get to do this now and like have that. But before at Nintendo, they were pretty, like, strict about, like, who you could kind of fraternize with. And now it feels, like, very free, and it's kind of nice. I like it. I like it a
lot. We did the next day, we had to stop by Nintendo headquarters. Had to do it. Got to go take some pictures. Got to have it in the vlog. Obviously, there's nothing you can actually do there.
I know.
But it's nice to see. It's still holding up.
Right. It looks the same.
Did get a look of, they're building a third building. It was like, oh yeah, that's probably where that's going to go. So they'll have like this row of, 3 buildings. Didn't look like they've really started doing much of anything to that. So.
I was really glad because the day that we went to do that was a holiday. So there weren't that many people around that area.
Right.
Because I always feel weird. I don't know. I mean,
explain yourself.
It's fine to go and take a photo. I think it's fine. But I just feel like bad for the security guard that's probably just constantly dealing with...
Yeah. I mean, we've heard those stories of people, stepping in too far or just trying to walk right in.
There's a lot of these, like, eye roll stories, and I just don't want to be part of it, honestly. Like,
you were very nervous. Like, we were...
I wasn't nervous, I just felt bad for them.
We were keeping a very respectful distance.
I was like, we should cross
We were on, like, the other side of the street, and you're like, the
street.
security guard's going to get mad. He's going to come get us. It's like, we're on the other side of the street.
No, I know he wasn't going to come get us, but I was like, I don't want to annoy them, because I'm sure they're just constantly being annoyed, and I would hate to be that person that's just like, oh, here's another annoying, foreigner coming to take pictures. Like, it's so annoying.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that person,
We did record ourselves walking from one building to the next. I think that's something that people may be curious about, of like, oh, you have these 2 buildings. Like, how close are they? Like, how do people get around? Like, there is no hidden underground tunnel. No pneumatic tube that you pop yourself into.
I wish there was.
There is no warp pipe. You have to walk.
And
some days it's 100 degrees and 100% humidity. And it sucks.
And you have to wear your business clothes while you walk.
Your business attire.
Or heels.
While you walk.
It's not great.
No.
And then we did like a fun cultural thing after that. We went to the Fushimi Shrine, which you guys might have seen in like a pretty like early days digital event.
For Star Fox Zero.
Where Mr. Miyamoto talks about how that shrine is like lightly inspired Star Fox. there's a lot of foxes there, and there's also these like gates that is really famous at the Fushimi Shrine. That's kind of
I'm sure you've seen pictures.
You've definitely seen pictures. And then like that is sort of the gates that you fly through, and of course Fox McCloud.
But they're so tightly packed, like it almost makes literally like it feels like you're inside at some point.
Yeah, it's like a hallway.
Gate.
And it's crowded. Touristy. Very touristy there. But it's fun. I love going to, shrines in Japan. It's like a really peaceful experience. It's always just nice to like walk around and remind yourself that there is a lot of culture, even in modern things like video games, especially the way Nintendo does things. Is like they do take all of that culture that is steeped into the city and bring it into stuff that they're making because they're inspired by it because the city is so beautiful. So it's kind of cool to just be reminded of that,
Yeah. I learned exclusively that you sweat out of your nose because it was getting very warm at that point, and you're kind of walking up a mountain.
Tiring.
And frankly, like that shrine specifically, if you want to go all the way,
it's really hard.
It's really hard, and in that weather, it's really hot. So we went a little bit of way and like, all right, we're good. We're gonna go turn around and get this ice cream cone now.
I've never made it all the way to the top.
No,
I've tried many times, and I always give up like at 3/4 of the way through. I'm like, I can't do it. I don't know what's up there. Maybe one day I'll make it up there, but it is a tough climb. It gets even steeper as you get higher too. Like you're actually, instead of sort of going up a gentle slope, you're going upstairs, and it can get pretty tough.
Right.
But that was really fun, and yes, we did go get a matcha ice cream, which was delicious. And
that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite things.
It's really good here. Yeah,
we've debated whether soft serve is actually ice cream.
Yeah,
I think it is.
I think it is. Yeah,
and Japanese matcha soft serve
is like the best.
Is quite possibly the greatest food in the world.
Oh wow,
maybe one of.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty fantastic, especially when you're like hot. You're like, this is so refreshing,
and
it's like not too sweet. And the little rest stops that they have at the shrine where you can get the ice cream is always like very scenic.
Yeah, it's really
relaxed.
nice.
We have it in the vlog. You should go watch it. It's a vibe. But yes, that's what we've been up to. And then we took the next day after that. We took the train back to.
Well, that was this morning.
Yes.
The next day, as in like 5 hours ago.
Well, the next day after we went to the shrine. I mean.
That's today.
I know.
That was yesterday.
Yes. Thank you.
The next day is today.
Stop it.
Right now.
Today!
We are living it.
We took the train back to Tokyo, back on the Shinkansen, back with my train bento.
More train bentos, yes. Now they have the train bentos
that self-heat.
So
cool.
Like, I like to watch my guy, Steve MRE, and he's like, the modern MREs, like, if you pour water in this thing, it'll create steam and it can warm itself up. They're like, pull the string and wait 5 minutes, and this will be hot food.
It's amazing.
I didn't get one of those.
It's amazing.
But I'm very curious about that.
Isn't that amazing?
Bento science cannot be stopped.
Yeah.
Will not be stopped.
Living in the future.
So, like we said, we're only about halfway through this trip. So, some stuff we've got coming up. Tonight, we're going to the big 8/4 pre-TGS party, which is like totally an institution in like the week of TGS. I went to that a couple times, but again, it's been a long time.
I've never been.
I haven't done TGS since 2008. So it's been quite a long time.
You were young back then.
And I'm really looking forward to catching up with everybody.
Yeah.
And
I don't know anybody.
That's a who's who.
That's a who's
who.
Gathering.
That's
what you say.
Everybody's going to that.
Better perk up for that.
Tomorrow is our big day doing some shopping in Akihabara.
Yes.
Is there anything you are looking to get?
I just want to look around. I do want to hit up some of the more like retro stores too to see if I can pick up some stuff. And eventually we'll be going to do more shopping, and I'll be picking up my copy of Echoes of Wisdom as well.
Yes.
But it'll be fun to explore, and I haven't like really done that kind of game shopping in a really long time.
It's cool to see. I mean, I think you should. Certainly, my expectations are low because like those have become just such tourist attractions that either stuff is out of stock or the price is really high.
But it's just fun to see what they got.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think I don't know if they still have it, but I remember Super Potato had a throne made of Famicom cartridges.
I remember that
so
maybe
you could sit in that.
Maybe I should get that.
Get the throne?
Or make myself one.
Okay.
I need a lot of Famicom cartridges.
You're gonna need to,
Yeah. We might also hit up like the Pokemon Cafe and the Kirby Cafe.
Yeah.
And just like check that out because I have not been to those before, and I want to see the cute desserts.
Yeah.
So that might be something we'll do too tomorrow. But we have a pretty like fun, easy like day in the city because we haven't really gotten to explore too much yet in Tokyo. So that'll be a really fun thing for us to do tomorrow.
Yeah, and then Thursday's the big day at TGS.
It's quite a bit far out of the city.
It's going to be a long day because TGS is like an hour outside of Tokyo proper. So we got to get on another train, get out there, and we got
full day of appointments.
We got a good day.
Yeah.
Some appointments, some time to walk around and see it. And then we're coming back because we're going to be on the 8-4 TGS podcast then. So that is a packed day right there.
I think it's going to, it's a lot of travel.
A lot of back and forth.
Back and forth on that train.
Right.
And,
it's a shame they can't find a more central location to do TGS because it seems like everybody's on that same hamster wheel of like, well, I'm going out and then I'm coming back and we're doing this other thing here.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll have to drink a lot of coffee tomorrow.
So I want to know, I always like to ask you this when you come back from a trip. We're on the same trip though.
Yeah.
What has been your highlight and your low light so far? Escalator? Low light?
No, the escalator was fine. My highlight is definitely seeing people that we've missed. We had dinner, a couple dinners already with like friends that we haven't seen in a long time, and it's been nice to catch up with everybody. It's like pre-pandemic we've seen these people.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because the world totally changed and everybody's doing different things now, and we're like different people and we're doing different things now, so it's just fun to catch up with everybody, and so that's definitely a highlight. A low light? I don't know if I had a low light.
You gotta have a low light.
I mean,
even if it's not that low, you gotta have something.
At the shrine, the rock was really heavy. The wishing rock.
You did something. What was it? It was
called like the heavy light rock.
The heavy light rock. And it was make a wish and pick up this rock. And if you think the rock is light,
your wish will come true.
It'll be easier for you to do it. But if the rock is heavy, then it might be a little bit harder. Meanwhile, this is just a huge stone. So it's going to be heavy.
But it didn't say like, if the rock was heavy, your wish won't come true. It's just it's
going to be a little bit harder.
A little bit harder.
But I don't think anybody's walking away from this feeling like, oh yeah, piece of cake, because this is like a huge rock.
Maybe if you're like really buff. Oh. But I was like, oh, this is very heavy.
It's like, this is rigged.
So you were like, you just tanked our channel. Your wishes. I'm like, how
you didn't tell me what your wish was.
I was gonna say. I don't know if you know what I wish.
If you say it definitely can't come true.
I guess that's a low light. Me picking up the rock and it
You're
felt
like,
really.
I wish he falls off the mountain, leaves me alone.
Oh man, he's gonna have to wait a little while before he falls off.
Now you can wish for an escalator that goes down.
Yeah.
For me, the low light's definitely been not sleeping those first couple nights because that was really rough. I don't know what happened. Like, I think you might be right though.
I think the
many social outings.
Yeah.
At the end of those days, like, my brain was just kind of, like, short-circuiting.
Also, like, you're on. You know what I mean? Like, when you're with groups of people and even if it's fun to chat and stuff like that, you're kind of, like, on.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a while for your brain to, like, relax. And I don't know about you, but I am not used to socializing like this. Like, when I'm back home, I don't talk to anyone.
Seem to be.
I, like, let it sit in my house quietly by myself and play video games. So my social battery is like.
So you say this, and then there's me, who's an actual introvert, who's like, "You're a fraud," when you say these things.
But I literally don't. When I'm at home, I do not talk to anyone except for you, every week.
Well, yeah, when you're at home, you're not surrounded by people. Anyway, whatever. Highlight. Gosh, I do really like having time to kind of walk through. Just to walk in Japan is really nice, and just like take some side streets. Like walking through just like a random like alley in Japan is like such a delightful thing, and it's like very picturesque and very like just serene, and like there could be like some amazing restaurant or some amazing store,
like a little coffee shop.
It's like this guy dedicated his life to making the best coffee, like literally being Brewster or like just things.
Yeah,
and you just would not experience that.
Yeah.
In our part of the world, in any
true.
sense.
The cool thing too is we're obviously here working, and making content and doing stuff, but we do have more freedom. Like, you're
Yeah.
not beholden to, like, a team dinner.
Right.
Or, like, you don't have to be trapped in a meeting room for 8 hours. Like, you can go walk around and, like, kind of make your own schedule in a way. You have more control over that. So that's been a really cool part of this, too, is that, like, when we used to go to Kyoto together, it was really fun, and we still, like, enjoyed it, but you don't really get to see it, truly. Like, the way that we did it this time, you know? Like, you do have a different schedule that you're on. There's so many more people that want you to be on that schedule, so you don't have control over it, and it's been a real highlight to, like, have that freedom and, like, do what we want and, like, make our own schedule. So that's been really nice.
So yeah, definitely check out those vlogs once they start to come out. None of them are out yet because we're still here recording them. But yeah, you know, you can see everything that we just talked about in great detail and much more.
Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed them.
Yes.
Yes. We're gonna take a minute and talk about some games that we were playing on the plane ride over, and maybe before we got on the plane. But first, we have one more sponsor to shout out worldwide.
Worldwide.
This episode is sponsored by HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip those trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit.
Guess what I did?
You ordered a HelloFresh box for when you get back?
Yes! How'd you know?
Because
you did the same
I
thing?
did the same thing. Yeah.
Because that's exactly what you need when you come back from...
You think I'm dealing with that?
No.
That nonsense?
You don't need to go to the grocery store. You don't need to, like, figure out what is still good in the fridge, because that's a dangerous game to play. I scheduled it so the day that I get back from Japan, I'll have a nice, beautiful, delicious HelloFresh box delivered to me, and I can, like, quickly make a good meal and not stress out too much about it. And it's really, really nice, really easy, and I'm just glad to be... I'll be happy to get back to cooking as well, because we've been, of course, on a trip and eating out a whole bunch too.
Yeah, and they have all these kind of different categories of recipes that you can choose from. So like the quick and easy, where it's like under a certain amount of minutes and like, you know, minimal prep work. It's like, that's going to be great for me because I'm going to be recovering. I'm going to have a lot to do. Got to unpack. Got to
laundry.
do everything. the never-ending laundry. So that's going to be perfect. And they have over 50 recipes that they're always changing out week to week.
Yeah.
So you can pick like, oh, this is exactly... You're never compromising on what you want to eat because they're going to have something that's like, yes, that is going to hit the spot.
We've been eating so much delicious Japanese food, but, you know, I do miss Mexican food.
So many people here who are like, have spent time in America or are originally from America, they're like, we wish you could have brought Mexican food.
I know. We had dinner with somebody and I was like, I wish I could have brought you a mission burrito from San Francisco, but that's a little hard to pack. I'm sorry. But I did order
some making that for yourself.
Delicious street tacos in my HelloFresh box, and that's going to totally hit the spot.
That's
I'm so
delicious.
excited.
So, for free breakfast for life, wow,
Whoa.
Go to HelloFresh.com/free Kit Krysta. You get one free breakfast item per box while your subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life just by going to HelloFresh.com/free Kit Krysta. Wow.
Wow.
HelloFresh, that's America's #1 meal kit.
I'm going to put the link here and in the description below.
Yeah. So I think, you know, our approach to dealing with these long flights is just like load up the games and, you know, you got some games where you want to make a lot of progress. You got some games that you've just been meaning to get a taste of, some things you wanted to go back to. I think, you know, we both had the Plucky Squire, which was kind of a new release. It was like, oh, we're saving this for the plane.
It was perfect. It was like 2 days before we left, that game came out.
So we both kind of had that and hadn't touched it before we got on.
Yeah, you got a little bit further than I did.
Well, I think we're right at, I saw you were at that boss with the bow and arrow, which is a little bit earlier than where I was. So I think we're right around the same spot.
Yeah, I've been playing on the trains a little bit too.
Yeah, that seems to be about halfway through the game.
Yeah, such a delightful game.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, we already knew from all the beautiful trailers and all the things that we've been seeing about this game, we were already excited about, like, the cool art style, the gameplay mechanics and stuff, so it was just fun to play it finally, and it did not disappoint. It's so delightful, so charming. It's, you know, it has so much imagination. There's a lot of, like, cool things where you're, like, in the book you know, and then you do things and you kind of pop out of the book. Very imaginative, very creative, the way that you're like getting through the different areas. And I've been enjoying it so much. It's so fun.
It's a great year for whimsical games. You know, we're kind of coming from Astrobot to this, and you can just feel the whimsy, which is nice.
Yeah.
For me, you know, this game has been a long time coming, and it's been in so many showcases, and there've been so many trailers. My brain did a thing, like when I first saw the game, it's like, oh, that looks cool, I'm going to get it. So I kind of don't need to pay that much attention. Like when they would release a new trailer, I wouldn't necessarily watch it. So part of me was like, what actually is this game? Because I haven't been keeping up.
I've been keeping up.
I don't exactly know. So you're kind of this character in like a living storybook.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of as you go through the world, there'd be like an animation of like a page
flipping,
turning.
Yeah.
So it's very much structured like a book, and it looks, you know, everything is hand drawn.
Yeah.
The art's by James Turner, who's formerly
Huge
the
fan.
art director of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I can't believe how much work he must have had to do on this game.
4 years it took him to make this game. He probably drawing nonstop for 4 years.
I think everything in that portion of the game is drawn by him, including like every frame of animation that these characters are doing. It's nuts.
It's nuts. And it's beautiful. There's really a style that's very James Turner that you just appreciate, because it's the work that he does is just very happy and vibrant and joyful, truly, and it's great. This game has like a couple different like genre mashups. I think it has a bit of a puzzle aspect of it. There is some like combat. You know, there are proper boss fights, but there's a lot of imagination on how you're like getting through it. That is tying back to it being like this idea of a book, or this idea of going into certain like paper products, I guess. That's a weird way of describing it. But like sometimes you go into the book and there's like a little puzzle you have to solve, where you like have to take the word out of the page and like change it with a different word to solve the puzzle. I thought that was so clever.
That's a part of the game that I didn't understand. Yeah, you can see like there's so many games that must have inspired or been a reference for them. So like I've seen some people say like, oh, Zelda is one. I think like if you look strictly at maybe some overworlds of 2D Zeldas.
A little bit.
Maybe there's that. There's some Paper Mario for sure. You were talking about A Link Between Worlds of like kind of going into things and traversing the world that way. The stuff with the words reminded me of, remember Scribblenauts?
Totally.
So yeah, this game just has a lot going on for it.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think I knew that you would do this, but I was still surprised when it happened. So your character pops out of the book.
Yes.
And then it becomes a very different game.
Yeah.
Because previously it's like a proper 2D game with the hand-drawn, you know, looks like you're in the book. But then you pop out and it's a 3D model, and you're in a 3D place of this kid's bedroom where he had been reading the book. And you have to, you know, sometimes they'll send you out there to find something to bring back in the book. Sometimes that relates to some puzzle. I'd say it's like 60-40.
More book than 3D.
Right, which is good, because I think I definitely like inside the book better.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about the outside the book stuff?
The outside of the book stuff, I was surprised by that as well. I know I've seen the trailers where it does that. I wasn't sure exactly what that gameplay was going to feel like. It is fun, but there's one thing about that section that I don't like, which is there are these huge, real, like, lifelike looking bugs that are in the 3D section. These beetles.
Yeah, these big old beetles.
And they have some of these sections where the beetles will like chase you, and you have to do some forced stealth.
Well, they have some mandatory, again, instant fail stealth.
Yeah.
It's like one of the first things that they make you do when you pop out of the book.
And I was really scared. Like it was like a very jarring experience, because you had been in the happy book for like a while.
The whimsy is over when you get eaten by a giant beetle.
That beetle was really scary, and it's like that.
Yeah, like jumps on you and it's like, oh, you died.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I don't think that was the best. These instant fail stealth segments, maybe not the best thing to put in a game these days.
Yeah,
in general.
I don't mind the stealth. The instant fail is a little bit off-putting, but it was just like so different and scary. Like, truly, like I was not ready for the jump scare of the bug killing.
Fortunately, you get past that though.
Yes, it's not very often that you have to do it. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, they've done a really good job. Like, I feel like the graphics in that section are very detailed.
Oh, it's amazing.
Definitely has a different look going for it that still is very colorful and whimsical. But for me, it's like, it's so hard to compare with what's happening in the book, which kind of feels like very magical at times, like how they're able to pull that off.
Right.
Like, I understand why they want me to go out of the book, but I kind of want to get back in as fast as I can.
Yeah. There are some cool things some fun surprises, like you do have to get this new weapon. I don't want to spoil it, but you do that outside of the book, and I really loved the imagination for some of those things.
Yeah, there are some sort of, I guess you could call them mini games that are, again, like pulling inspiration from other games. So like one that you do very early on is like a Punch-Out-esque battle.
Yes.
And I like how like your character, who's normally very diminutive, like the camera gets very close and he's like jacked.
Yeah.
And he's just like punching away at these enemies. So yeah, there's a lot of these kind of just one-off mini games that you'll do like maybe once or twice and then never see again.
They're inspired by other game styles, which is really fun.
Right,
I really like it.
And sometimes even that mashes up different art styles. Like I think the thing that you're referring to is like, the storybook style meets another different kind of artistic style.
That was a really surprising, fun surprise. I really enjoyed that.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of imagination and just creativity with this game. So yeah, I think we're both gonna continue playing and beat this game soon. I don't think it's super long.
No, I think we're both halfway. So I think it's definitely within reach. I do, again, for somebody who's bad at puzzles, the game does have a good amount of puzzles. I have gotten briefly stuck at some of them, but have never. Again, we were on an airplane, so we have no way to check if we do get fully stuck. But it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
so
you're
that's good. I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another game that I saw you playing on the plane that you've been talking about the last couple of weeks, Yars Rising.
Yeah, it's a really fun game. I think
this game looks really cool. I was watching over your shoulder. I was like, yeah, this is great.
Super cool looking. I got to a part, the sort of the beginning of the game, you're kind of in this facility. And so I had thought like, oh, I'm just going to be like in this facility for this whole game and then I'll beat the game. But no, you kind of, there's like a secondary part where you're like out in the city and it has a really cool like vibe where it's like this neon futuristic looking city and it's like raining. It kind of reminds me of Tokyo, honestly. And I was like, really excited that I get to like do this whole other part in the game with this like different like style. But it is like a sort of Metroid-ish kind of game. You're going through and you're collecting different power-ups for the main character, and when you get those, you can kind of retroverse and get certain things. You also saw me struggle bus on a boss that I still haven't beat yet.
Is that not the last boss of the game?
It may be the last boss. I don't know.
You seem pretty sure that it was.
I was getting pretty close to the end, so I think that either that's like a
I mean, you spent
to last.
You spent a good hour on this boss getting nowhere fast.
Yeah, it was really, really hard. It's throwing a lot of stuff at you at once, and you were like, "Should I just do it for you?" And I refused to give you the game.
Well, I felt very confident that I could do it the first time, which would have made you so mad.
I did not. That would have been my low light.
Had that. There hadn't really been any other big difficulty spikes though. No. To that point, right?
Yeah, the other bosses have been totally fine. This one was really tough for me. Okay. So I gotta keep trying, but then I got distracted by the Plucky Squire. So, but the game itself, I really enjoyed it. And I think it's really cool. It's really fun, and it's kind of neat that they took this old Atari game and like made it into a whole new thing. So. I will get back to it. Hopefully, I will be able to beat that boss. But yeah, I really like it so far.
Yeah, I thought that game was great, and it was very beautiful to look at. I know you said like the load times are a little bit iffy.
I'm playing on Switch, by the way.
And I guess we should say Plucky Squire we're playing on Switch too. I know that's on a lot of different platforms, so people may be curious. I thought the Switch performance was pretty good most of the time. Yeah. Like there were some frame rate things that happened. The game is a little buggy at the moment.
There's some little bugs.
We did both run into some things of like, oh, I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, there's some like weird text things, some weird like enemy things. Yeah.
There's more severe stuff that we've heard of like, oh, the game soft locks or I'm sure
that hasn't happened to me.
I'm sure they're working on this. We haven't run into that.
Yeah, maybe
but I think the Switch version, if you want to get that version, it seems
pretty okay.
Seems nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. Yeah.
Last thing is I did play a bit more Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection on the plane.
I saw that.
And specifically Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I'm very realistic. I was like, I'm never going to become like good at this game, but I do just want to understand it a little bit better because the couple times that I played it, and again, I did have this game on Dreamcast, but I played it in just like a very kind of like mashy kind of way, and I think never really tried to learn it beyond like, let's just apply whatever I know from old Street Fighter into this. And this is a very different kind of game. So you do need kind of a different mindset. So I just spent some time like fiddling around with some characters and really looking at the movesets. And it's like, what makes this game tick? And I did, I think, come away with just a better appreciation for it. So it is kind of like, you create a team of 3. And there's not rounds. It's just, once all of the 3 characters are out, their life bars are done, like that is the side that wins. A lot of times, you just run out of time, and you still have characters that are active, so they pick the side that has more life left. And you can also call them in to do little support moves if you don't want to completely have them swap out. So, but the other person can still, like, if they attack the supporting character, like, they take damage.
Right.
So
it's a little bit of strategy there.
I do really like that aspect of strategy of, like, how am I managing these 3 characters? How am I bringing them in? You can also choose, like, I think there's 3 different options of what they can do when you call them in for a support move. So some of them are, like, projectiles or anti-air or whatever. And I think a lot of like the crazy combos that you see people doing, they involve like calling those people in. There's this whole other aspect as well of just like the verticality of, you can do these launchers that throw people way up into the sky. You can do these high jumps where if you go like down and up really fast, you'll jump way high. Again, it's like those things that you see with really high level players of like launching somebody up and doing this crazy, dozens long
air moves
hit combo, and it's like I am at no level to do any of those. But that
it exists.
That's a very different kind of gameplay than what I was used to with
Street Fighter.
Classic Street Fighter.
Yeah.
So that just took me a little bit of a while. Like, all right, well, how does this work? How do I get people in that state? And then how does that all work? So it's like, all right, I feel like I've got this down.
Yeah.
And then there's just so many characters in that game. Like that select screen is like, boom.
There's a lot.
Like sometimes you have to like really hunt. I'm like, wait, I want to choose this person. Where are they?
Yeah.
And then the music's gonna take you forever.
I know. It's great. It's so fun to like do like different matchups and combinations and stuff.
You can tell that like they gave themselves a lot of leeway with these characters because again you have like the huge characters like the Hulk and the Juggernaut and the Sentinel, but even like little tiny characters like you got Mega Man or like the Servbot, or there's just so much scale between the small and the large characters that's really fun. So I think I got mission accomplished in those couple hours I spent on the plane.
Nice.
Like, just like this is perfect. I'm just gonna sit down and kind of like plug away at this and figure it out. And I feel like I have a lot of respect for this game and I like it a lot. There are, a lot of other games on that collection, and I do think like, they're all a little bit different, and some of them have different characters, and some of them play a little bit different. Like most people are going straight to MVC 2. It's like it would be cool to do that with some of those other games as well.
Yeah.
Specifically the X-Men, the first one, I think that was the first one they did, X-Men Children of the Atom. That's kind of a smaller roster, plays a little bit different, and maybe that's the one I can do that for next.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see how we're doing on our tight 60 here. We're at 104. Not bad. Let's
wrap it up.
That's about all we got to talk about here.
Yes.
We do have to shout out our Patreon subscribers.
Yes.
And specifically for this episode, we do want to thank everybody who left a YouTube super chat or super thanks, which definitely was a big contribution in enabling us to even do this trip.
Right.
So thank you to all of you as well.
Yeah. And if you would like to join us to keep all of this content going, join us on patreon.com/Kit and Krysta. You just made the font bigger so I can read it.
You have to read this.
I'm
gonna make it even bigger now.
Well, you're not doing it right.
I'm doing it.
There you go.
There it is.
That's it. All right, let's do some shout-outs.
Okay.
Final boss, Aaron Hash.
We were remiss. We did not pack the framed photograph.
I will put it here.
With Aaron Hash's photo. Shame on us.
Shame on us.
How dare we?
Superstars. Here we go. Mara Mayhem.
Eigenverse.
Kiss My Flapjack.
Mike Chin.
Roy Eschke.
Switching it up _
VGM Life.
Link the Hero of Wins.
Angela Bycroft and her pig Molly.
Thomas O'Rourke.
Kyle LaBeouf.
Roberto Nieves.
Frederick Wolf Conradson.
Andrew Uhas.
Chili.
Simon.
Crush Shuri.
Master Discord.
Ash.
Ajay Kundalas.
And 40 Gig. And here come the One Up Club, Aaron Burgundy.
Ale Alejandro.
Astro Dev.
Awesome 46.
Bad Moon Horizon.
Bates.
Benji B.
Big N Gamer with a Y.
Bookem Dano.
Brandon Kavapel.
Brent Dennison.
Brooke Obscura.
Rovac Novak.
Cameron.
Shadir.
Shelly Squirrel.
Crispy Saurus.
Christopher Lay.
Captain Alex.
Crimcat.
Christabel.
C. Roper 17.
Dachshund.
Doinko.
Elite Peach.
Espars 50.
Fart Priest 69.
Fairbound.
Fernie and Jess Forever.
Fox Deploy.
Garth the Wolf.
Gartooth.
Guilty Phoenix 42.
Handheld Gamer.
Happy Sloth.
I may have made a mistake.
In Space Khalil.
Iris Marin.
Jay Rando.
Jack Hovick.
Jameson Eisenberg.
Jeffrey Hernandez.
Joe Encarnacion.
Jonathan Rowe.
Jordan Collette.
Jordan Hammerly.
Joshua Clements.
Juji Fruit.
Justin Lemminger.
Kawa2796.
Keith Quant.
Kevin Delane.
Kilo Kibo.
Christopia Party with Me.
Kyle Gamer Barry Rookie.
Kyle Kretzer.
Lazy Cat for Coffee.
Lex.
Link 9898.
Lit.
Luigi 53.
Lynn.
Macho Potato.
Mad Dog 5981.
Magnificent Easy G plus Callie Marie.
Marky Man 64.
Mario Man 392.
Mecha Dragon 101.
Megan.
Michael Cravens.
Mikey.
Mr. Ryan 07.
Motomania.
Mr. Andy Pong.
Mr. Beans and Dip.
MSM Poke Gamer.
Mytran.
Nasir.
Nathan Burkhart.
Naif E.
Ninja 11.
Andy.
Patrice Millette.
Paul.
Paul Gale Network.
Prime Factor.
Prince Charmless.
Reaver.
Rain Tech.
Random bystander here.
Record Rumble.
Ryuji Utsuhu Ukou.
Ryth 1.
Rob.
Romsky 113.
Rocks.
Ryanetta.
Sakura Sky.
Sharif Jackson.
Shinryu.
Schmales.
Slowbro.
Snazzle.
Spacey Poo.
Spicy Munchkin.
Steel Citrone.
Pseudo Priest.
Tales of Link.
Tay 120 and 64.
Teal Fox 64.
The Kagers.
The Shark Among Men.
Thomas Alvarez.
Three Rivers.
Timmy V.
Torcheeks.
Totally Joe Ed.
Travis Torlon.
Trajowie.
Tugs Puppy Bear.
Tusku.
Tyler Geis.
Video Game Stupid.
Vidgmictor.
Vincent Van Butler.
Viridian.
Virtual Bot.
Weeb Kingdom.
WG Grizzy.
YU.
Wicked Davy.
Will Johnson.
Zelgaroth.
Zapatty.
It's Royd.
Pretty clean for sharing off the same screen.
This is a good size.
Make it big.
150%.
Okay. Make it boomer size.
Make
Got
it as big as the Mario and the pipe. Big.
Oh no.
All right. We are going to get on with our Tokyo night. Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Please, if you would love to support us, then join us on Patreon at patreon.com/Kit and Krysta.
If you're watching this on video, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, give this video a thumbs up, and leave us a comment. And if you're listening on audio, you can also subscribe, give this podcast a 5-star rating, and a written review, if you please.
And we're on the socials. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Threads. Lots of photos on those channels from this
Oh my
trip,
gosh.
including the redacted guest that we had dinner with. So
much redacted. That's the theme. Redacted.
Go look to see who it is. Wink, wink. All right, time to go. We'll be back soon with so many vlogs and more podcasts. We'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.